It seems like you guys.
I mean, I don't know what was, we were slipping and dropping balls and everything else at the start of the game. Sometimes you don't, it takes a minute to get into your rhythm in the game. Hopefully it doesn't take that long usually. Hopefully you're there when the ball's tipped, but I can't really explain that part of it. Once we settled down, we got the ball moved, I thought we were better. That was a team that you can't floor it blindly against them. You can't catch it and just put it on the ground, or you can't catch it and just go into your move and shot, because there's so much help, there's so much length that they get their hands on balls, and sometimes it's check, see, make the pass, then attack after you've reversed the ball. We did a better job of that in the second half.
Talk about Jared, Coach, how he's been playing.
Yeah, I thought Jared was really good last night. I thought Sean Grandy actually just mentioned this when we were doing the radio stuff. He kind of kept us afloat for that first part of the game, and then we were fortunate that we didn't really need to go back to him late in the game, but certainly he was ready, and he was great on the bench, and he's been very good in the last couple weeks.
What do you thought about how it started?
What do you guys need to do to solve that riddle, I guess?
Better pregame talks. I don't know. Right when we say slow starts are an issue, we'll start well and then we'll stink, in the second quarter. So I don't know. We'll wait and see if it becomes more of an issue. I think certainly one of the things that we've all talked about is we have a lot of very even guys, and so when we go to our bench, there's not a huge drop off, if any. And most teams there is a little. So I don't know if that maybe is a reason why sometimes the second unit looks better on paper. I don't know why. But we've got to start games better.
Some of the minor injuries that you've had, like in the backcourt, is that kind of the flip side of that whole how are we going to find minutes for everybody storyline that went on for a while?
It's not, I don't know, Scott. I think the biggest minutes crunch is in the front court. So I don't know that that's a huge, I'm not, I'm empathetic towards anybody that's not playing, certainly, and that's a hard thing to do, but I think more of the numbers crunch is in the front court.
Brad, I apologize if you were asked this last week, but when Frank called you up and wanted to meet with you and talk about some things, how rewarding was it for you to be able to share with him after he helped you kind of start your coaching career?
Well, we just talked in passing. I don't think there was ever any asking me about anything, just talking basketball. I mean, he's a good friend and a good coach. I've learned a lot from him in my 2 years, and I think like anything else, we're all always trying to look for what's best for our individual teams.
Right. When Marcus does get healthier in the next few days, do you anticipate him moving back into the line, or are you going to kind of play that by feel?
Yeah, I think that would be a good possibility, but I'm not going to jump to any conclusions until I have to.
How comforting is it to have somebody like Turner and plug in Turner bench?
Yeah, I think it's great, and I've talked about this a lot all year about just Evan's versatility, not only as a player but as a teammate, and being able to ask to be doing different things on different nights. Like I didn't even tell Evan he was starting tonight. We just went out to walk through and said, okay, you're here. I'm not worried about his mindset going into the game, whether he's starting to come off the bench. It has no bearing on how he's approaching the game. So it's very good to have people like that on your team.
You mentioned Sullinger, and so far this season he's one of the top players in some advanced metrics like per box score plus minus. What differences do you observe from him this year compared to the past 2 years coaching him?
Well, I don't know that those numbers are applicable yet, but that's a good sign. Obviously, it's better than not being. I think that the biggest thing is that defensively, I think he's improved. He's been very good at reading when to be back and when to be up, especially in pick and roll coverages. And then offensively, he's taking what the defense is giving him, and he's shooting it great. He's scoring off offensive rebounds. He was in the post yesterday a little bit, so he's a guy that can score a variety of ways, and the more that he can take advantage of in a game, the better.
Brad, he's kind of been susceptible to these kind of 1 or 2 game injuries throughout his career. How do you kind of keep him encouraged? Because it seems like some of these things just keep happening to him, the kicks in the calves and the knees, and
if you play hard and you put your body out there like that, you're going to have some of these things. So, you know, he knows that we think highly of him, and he knows that, you know, there are guys on the bench that will step up in his absence. And you know, I think as you look across the league, you look at Stuckey not playing tonight, and a couple of guys on both teams. Smart's missed a few games, and last time Miles didn't play for Indiana. Last night Carter Williams is out. Guys miss games. You know, these guys are playing hard. They're playing a lot of games in a row, and if you play it, you know, if you're like Avery and you're in the mix a lot, then you know you're going to have nicks and bruises and some strains and things like that. Hopefully, you just can minimize them.
Jonas Jerebko allows you to present kind of different look on defense, but he plays kind of sparingly minutes. How do you decide when to put him in the game and kind of when to change that up?
Well, we've played him pretty consistently the last 2-3 games, so he's going to play a lot for us. He's going to play the 3 and the 4, just kind of depending on who we're playing and how they're playing us. And you know, games like tonight when Indiana's small, you know, I think that certainly he's a really valuable guy and an option off the bench to play.